past McDonald's, I can actually see the sign.
Why is Aaron not? No.
Get the ball from here.
Hey. Hello, everybody. Good evening. Hey, it's Friday night. It's the 29th of March, and it's Easter weekend. It's the end of Holy Week. It's Good Friday. Well, I am so happy to be here with you tonight. Really making the week feel complete with you all here, and I'm just so I don't know. I'm just so taken by the entire work week and how I am still. It never gets old. What I get to do with you all never gets old. And then when I get the emails and when I get the letters, and I know that it's making impacts, and then that just makes it even more magical. And yeah, hopefully that inspires some really good conversation tonight, because I think I have some stuff worthy of conversation, some laughs, maybe a little bit of light stuff, a little bit of heavy lifting. I don't know, this and that and this. But welcome. I will say that I have a few things off the bat you should look out for over the weekend, and I'll make this announcement before I end the show again. But tomorrow night, that is Saturday night, we're going to have on the website 2 presentations. All I'm going to say is look out for, we got stuff to watch all weekend lined up. It's basically the same kind of lineup that I had last year that I picked out. I wanted it back tonight, this year, and I want to, I'll let you all know about it on Telegram and in the Gilded, and I'll send out some emails and stuff like that. But just remember that Saturday afternoon / after at all tomorrow night into all day Sunday, there's going to be stuff on quitefrankly.tv. And especially if you are carrying on with us for book club with the Robe, which I got to say, and I know Frank, oh, isn't it amazing? Every time Frank picks out a book, it ends up being the greatest thing ever. Yeah, isn't it? It's so pertinent, and it's going to be pertinent and relevant to us for another 500 plus years. There's so much. I don't want to put it down. This might be the first book that I read past what I've assigned for the week and just do double reading and just soaking it up. It might be really incredible. And we're going to have the Robe, the 1953-1954 movie, that's going to be in the rotation over the weekend, and it'll play more than once. I want it played on Saturday and Sunday. I want it in the mix, just so you guys and gals who are along for the ride will be able to watch it and just, what's not to understand about the plot. But it's just beautiful. So we got that going on. It's going to be great. We'll end with some stuff here tonight, too. But it's you and I. You and I. And how are we going to do this? I mentioned something not too long ago about there being that feeling of that buzz you kind of feel like you have a leg in one world and a leg in the other world where it hits you out of nowhere. You could be doing something completely mundane. You could be in the garden. You can be on the back porch. You could be whatever it is. And then all of a sudden you feel like you are both mortal and eternal at the same time. And all anxiety is relieved. And it's almost like you're stripping for a moment your mortal coil. I don't know what it is, but I just put this inarticulate, hey, has anybody ever felt this way before, thing out there. I think I described it as almost like, it's like a chill you get, almost like when you're a rush that you get, almost like you're standing next to running water, or like a rushing water off of a waterfall, where you're not necessarily getting misted or sprayed or anything like that, but your hair still stands up on end, and there's just an electricity that's running through everything. And yeah, well, I got quite a response from you guys and gals, and I have a few that I saved for tonight, because we live in a time where it kind of feels like there is a sense of impending doom. And it's okay to recognize that. You don't have to let that condition that continues to boil all around us penetrate. It's hard. You have to work through it. But to acknowledge it and find another way of circumventing that sucking you down into the pits of despair, that's a really great feat. And, of course, ignoring it does not make the fact that the world is on the brink. And it has been brought to the brink. Nothing that we're experiencing right now, I think very little what we're experiencing right now and have been, is natural. So I started thinking about pulling all these things together. The Robe, and how Lloyd C. Douglas describes, especially as the slave Demetrius sees Jesus. He actually is in Jerusalem at the time of Palm Sunday, and gets to make eyes with him, and was wondering who is this figure, what the hell's going on over here, and with no context as to who he is. For the rest of at least for the next couple of chapters following that Palm Sunday ending at chapter 4, he refers to him as the lonely man on the donkey, because there was a sense of impending doom, that he seemed very, very solemn and lowly in his duty, that he knew that he was alone, and that he was alone and abandoned till the end. But there was a job to be done. There was something that had to be done, and it was a harrowing, heavy burden. One that he shared with practically nobody. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that, because on Good Fridays all throughout my life, there was always this reflecting on the time of the day and reflecting on the passion. And even when it didn't matter if it was in that high school, college, just after college years in my life where I was really I had shed all of the spiritual, anything, religion, anything, just completely agnostic and indifferent, disinterested. Still, because it was just something that was always there when we were kids, I just reflect on it. I was telling this story to Jay last night about our little baseball games, that we'd always reflect. We'd always have a moment of silence and say a prayer at noon and at 3 p.m. It's just one of those things. And now, as you get older, I guess I'm giving everything away, but it's just stream of consciousness right here. So now, as you get older, at least I'm older now, I think of a lot more of the things that I've lost, a lot more of the things I've been challenged by and challenged with, the people I've lost, the suffering I've seen other people have to endure, and how all of that really can get you prepared in some ways for what you as an individual you may have to face at the end, or at least just the end in general. But what is all that preparation for? And is it all just doom? It isn't doom. It's just fear. It's fear. And how do you conquer that? Especially when there's so much, sometimes, physical suffering attached to it all. Well, we'll talk about that tonight, especially especially your breakthrough stories. Because isn't Easter all about triumph? It is the ultimate triumph. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what comes in from the audience, and I hope that you really stick with me from the first half into the second half on the website, quitefrankly.tv and Pilled, because I really want to take your calls as much as possible, and I hope that everybody feels welcome to do so tonight. I do. So that's that. In the meantime, please go and check out our affiliates, BlueMonsterPrep.com. Get everything you need over there. They have everything but Easter baskets. And anyway, Easter's 2 days away. They wouldn't be able to ship it to you, but still. And that's what I have. On Monday, April Fools, I don't know what we'll do, but I'll be on. On Tuesday, April 2nd, it's my birthday. I'm going to take that one off just so I can go have dinner with Aurora and Lauren. I will be live during the day at some point, though. I'll go live. It'll be impromptu. Maybe I'll just take some calls from the home office sometime in midday, or maybe I'll do a coffee stream just on the iPad or something. I will be live at some point, but I think I'm going to chill out on Tuesday night. Then on April 3rd, we're going to have Robert Phoenix on, and we're going to do a little bit of a eclipse synchronicity show. He'll be on in the first half. In the second half, it's possible I might be able to get Nick Hinton to call in and have him pile on to that, because he's another cool guy to talk to, and it's been a long time since he's been on the show. So we might have, it might be two for Wednesday next week. On April 4th, that's next Thursday, we have Jack. Jack from Picard's Ready Room is coming on. We're going to be talking about Tartaria. And he lays that all out pretty good. He lays it all out pretty good. So if you ever had any questions about Tartaria, this lost, hidden global civilization that's all around us, then that's going to be a good night to send in all of your questions and things like that. In fact, send in the questions now. Anything you ever wanted to know, any theory you wanted to challenge, whatever. Any curveball you wanted to throw Jack, he'll be on with us on the 4th. On the 5th, Maxian Caparato, my good friend, my old friend, my astrophysicist friend, he'll be on to do a little bit of eclipse prep as well, because he's actually worked on these rocket experiments that everybody is like, oh, they're sending rockets up at the eclipse, and it has the name of some kind of a dragon or something like that. Well, my friend actually worked on some of that stuff. So I want to ask him what the hell the rockets are all about, or what's happening, what he's looking for in this eclipse, and blah blah blah. And yes, so that'll be next Friday. It'll be a good one for sure. Jeff Harmon will be back on with us on Eclipse Day. That's on Monday the 8th. Ilana Freeland on April 10th. Oh man, there's just so much, and more coming in. More coming in. All right. That's that. Into the grab bag we go. The first one up is from the New York Post. Where the hell is it? Here you go. New York Post. Chicago reconsiders offensive plan to rename Columbus Drive for Barack Obama. I really hope that after Easter, this damn cough goes away. They're going to rename Columbus Drive. They wanted to rename Columbus Drive for Barack Obama after outraged Italian Americans step in. Thank God. Thank God. A Chicago politician is thinking twice about renaming Columbus Drive for Barack Obama after outraged Italian Americans question why the former president should be honored at the expense of one ethnic group. The Joint Civic Committee of Italian Americans has blasted the proposed rebranding as offensive last week, with President Ron Onesti describing it as insensitive and unvetted. Listen, keep an eye out, ladies and gentlemen. I saw this. It's only a matter of time, number one. Number two, keep an eye out for that Francis Scott Key Bridge. Keep an eye out. Crusty old white guy who wrote the national anthem that suddenly has a whole lot of competition before major sports games They said it's going to take 4 or 5 years to rebuild that bridge. Plenty of time. Plenty of time to pull some shit. Don't be surprised if they rename that bridge for Ray Lewis or something like that. Don't be surprised. In fact, what do you think? What do you think they should rename the Francis Scott Key Bridge? You could send that one in to me. I'm sure all of the responses will be great. Let me see here. Over on, and of course, speaking of Barack Obama, he and Bill Clinton and what's his name? Joe Biden. They were at some posh fundraiser in New York City with all their friends and an infinite amount of security. Very, very well insulated from the meat grinder. The meat grinder environment on the outside. And people are paying specific attention to the way that Bill Clinton looks. And in particular, this one, Fletch 17 or so, I think, who's Fletch 17? Fletch 17 on Twitter said this. He said, "Who is this guy?" And it's Bill Clinton, who almost looks like his face has been filled in with collagen and putty, and he almost looks like Buddy. Oh, no, not Buddy, Woody. Almost looks like Woody from Toy Story. I don't know. I don't know. It's very odd. And then our good friend Chillin said, yeah, I mean, there's a stark difference between the skeletal wasting away monster on the right and this guy on the left. The nose looks somewhat different, but there's a hell of a lot of work. What was done? What has happened? How do you go from looking like death warmed over to this? What are you injecting? I'll tell you. People say the supply's been cut off. I don't think so. I don't think you're going to cut that supply off. Let me see. Here's another one for you. A heartwarming story. CBS News has covered. Where is it? It's Punxsutawney. Hope I got that right. Punxsutawney Phil and Phyllis welcome 2 baby groundhogs into the world. Just what the world needs. 2 more animals that can't predict the weather for shit. Punxsutawney Phil has a new job to add to his resume. The famous weather-predicting groundhog is now a dad, apparently for the first time. Phyllis and Phil welcome 2 babies. The Groundhog Club Inner Circle announced on Facebook on Wednesday, "We have babies." The Punxsutawney Groundhog Club is very excited to announce that Phil and Phyllis have given birth to 2 healthy baby groundhogs who are also completely incapable of predicting the weather. Where are they? What the hell am I looking at? Well, of course, it's on Facebook, so I can't see shit. What is that? That's a groundhog? I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. The babies are with mom and dad at the zoo at Punxsutawney Memorial Library. According to the Inner Circle, it was a surprise for everyone. When we went to feed them in their fresh fruits and vegetables, we found Phyllis with 2 little baby groundhogs. It was very unexpected. We had no idea she was pregnant, said Tom Dunkel, the president of Punxsutawney Groundhog Club's Inner Circle. In more than a century, Dunkel says they'd never had a baby groundhog before, so it was a shock to the club, and they are stoked. So congratulations to Phyllis and Phil. The groundhog population is well above 2.1, and they will not collapse anytime soon. Here's one for you. This is one I'm going to leave for you before we go to break, and it really warmed my heart. Governor Kathy Hochul, the Beaver Hochul, was asked to leave the wake for the police officer Jonathan Diller, who was just killed on the job a couple of days ago by the 21-time felon who should have never been allowed to suck clean air ever again. A long time ago, probably after 5, that's when you say, hopeless. Hochul was only in the venue for about 10 minutes before she was spotted in a clash with a man in a black suit. Several cops waiting outside the funeral home then began to clap as she walked away. She was told to get out. Take a look at this exchange. This really made me feel good. They're telling her that we don't want your filthy beaver ass in here. So thank you for coming here and stinking the place up, Governor Beaver. Now go away. Your teeth are disgusting. Your face is weird, and you are the spawn of Satan. Okay. Have a good day now. Goodbye. A smattering of applause, golf claps, but it is a solemn occasion over there at the funeral home. A young man who's leaving behind a wife and a child, and here's a woman who is hell bent on making everybody's lives more at risk. So yeah, a slight, even just a slight. Hope that happens. A friend of mine, my friend Joe, he was actually at the scene and he was able to record a little bit of Governor Beaver's reaction. Here was the first thing that he heard her say. Hold on. I have it right here.
What's that? Seriously? I can't come in? What the fuck is this?
You hear that? She was really pissed off. Let's listen to that one again.
What's that? Seriously? I can't come in? What the fuck is this?
And then he caught this last thing. He caught this last thing where she was getting a little bit desperate.
You open the door to this fucking funeral home right now.
That's terrible. But at least she's feeling the heat. One more time. There he goes.
You open the door to this fucking funeral home right now.
That's Kathy Hochul. So we have the exclusive. And thankfully, she was reminded of how much that real people actually hate her. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing in my book. Oh, I don't want to feel this way, ever. Especially not on Holy Week. I don't want to feel this way. But I'm just eating up inside. But let's get this one started up. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. Don't go anywhere.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!
Okay. Welcome to the show, everybody. It's Quite Frankly. That was the pre-show. It didn't mean anything. This is the real thing. And I hope that you all are ready for a nice night of new generation of talk radio. New generation indeed. So you can call in at any time. It's 914-200-0269. I'm going to want your opinions and your thoughts and feelings on quite a bit. And I think we have a few rich topics tonight as well. The other thing there, too, is that if you want to contribute to the show and support the show, but also share some thoughts or give a shout-out or a birthday wish, whatever the hell else, then you can, right now, you can go and use the Super Chat, quite frankly, superchat.com. That's the universal Super Chat. In fact, if you're listening to this at 2 o'clock in the morning, and we have long since been off air and everybody is sleeping, then you can even send a Super Chat to, quite frankly, superchat.com for me to get the next time that we are live. So there you go. And I just put the QR code up on the screen so you can just take a snapshot with your phone and suddenly there you have it. If you want to wish somebody an Easter wish or anything like that, we'll put them out there for you. All right. So a couple of weird items first, because I know that people in this audience are going to have some questions. The first one is kind of astonishing with a little twist of unnecessary. Okay? Astonishing with a twist of unnecessary. The second one is straight up weird, and I don't know what the hell to do about it. Now, the first one is right here. Lauren sent me this. It was from a Cool Stories group on Facebook. It says, 2 babies in Virginia are going viral because they are cousins, but they are also twin brothers. How is that possible, you might ask? How is it possible? I know, even Dr. Hammond doesn't know what the hell's going on. He's just so confused. So how is this possible, this weird shit? I'll tell you how. They've got the same DNA. Why? They've been sharing Pfizer needles. No. They've got the same DNA because both sets of parents are identical twins. Their moms are identical twins, and they have married identical brothers. So in addition to being cousins, the 2 babies are also genetic brothers. This is weird. It's astonishing. No, it's astonishing. I haven't gotten to the unnecessary part yet. You know, I've already found it so hard. If anybody out there is, shacked up, married to a twin, I understand that, you have fraternal twins, you have identical twins that don't actually really look the same. You can definitely tell them apart. And there's also, personalities are different as well. But I mean, I already find it hard to date a twin and not be like, I'll take either or, maybe it's not my reality, so I don't understand why it's easy to not feel that way. But you grow up and all you think about is, I'd love a pair of twins. But you got 2 twins and they make babies. And their babies are, they got the same DNA. So they're genetic brothers. If they took a DNA test, these 2 kids that they had, take a look again. If these babies took a genetic test, it would say siblings, even though they're not. Their parents met in 2017 at a festival for twins. I guess that kind of thing happens. And they got married a year later. Now this is the unnecessary part. Now they all live together in the same house. Oh! Come on. Maybe if you live next door in the same neighborhood, why are you living together? Does anybody else agree with me on that one? I'm totally fine with brothers and sisters being close. Brothers, whatever the hell it is, siblings. I love it when brothers and sisters and people get married and they stay together and they form bigger families, and I love all that stuff. I wish that all the people I love the most lived in the same neighborhood as me and I saw them every day. Bad enough that all the people I love most are mostly live in the same town as me and I barely see them ever. But this, you know what? Fuck it. You have a good time. Good. Everybody has their own bedroom, and it must be a really fun house. Though confusing. Though very confusing. You have a whole bunch of people walking around who look exactly like each other. That's weird. I don't know how I feel about this story. It changes every time I reread it. All right, here's another one that is just, I'm sorry, but there are no appropriate questions to ask when it comes to this story. And I don't think anybody at home is going to have appropriate questions to ask. Do not judge me. Okay, here it is. Headline from the New York Post. Conjoined twin Abby Henzel of TLC's Abby and Brittany is now married to an Army veteran. That is right. That is right. A man has married just Abby, of Abby and Brittany, who are conjoined twins. Abby and Brittany Hensel, who documented their lives in a TLC reality series, have transitioned from a duo to a trio. Abby, the left side conjoined twin, married Josh Bowling, a nurse and United States Army veteran, in 2021. They lived in Minnesota, where the Hensel twins were born and raised. Abby and Brittany, 34 years old, have been living private lives since their 8-episode show, Abby and Brittany, aired in 2012. But it's been a happy life for them in Minnesota, where they were born and raised. According to the Today Show, which obtained a marriage record for the spouses, the sisters are both fifth-grade teachers at their home state. Abby and Josh kept their wedding under wraps from the public eye until 2023, when they shared photos of the wedding ceremony on their TikTok. The wedding guests' resurfaced clip revealed an intimate moment from the lovebirds' wedding. I want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to find happiness. But is there really ever an intimate moment that is ever going to be had between this guy and the left head? What's her name again? Abby. Is there ever going to be an intimate moment? That's the whole thing. I don't know. I don't know. Are you essentially dating ahead? These are not. I'm not making fun, but these are the things I'm wondering about here, because the body seems to be at that point a shared workspace at that point. You're essentially picking a head. It's not just a head, Frank. It's a it's a whole her personality. You're right. I know. It's a personality attached to a head. It's a personality expressed by a head. If I were dating one of the girls, one of the heads, I would make it a point to stop, maybe just jokingly, because you have to break up the tension here. And I guess they're probably already past this, although I don't know how. It would make it, I would stop in the middle of conversations every once in a while and just look at the other sister and say, a little privacy, please. How do you met out issues that you have? When you're having sex, you're essentially making the sister, climax. No. Are you not? Does she not feel, they're only sharing one vag? No. So, I mean, what's the second sister supposed to do when you're bringing her to climax? Is she supposed to be like what what happens? There's so much. Most of my questions are sexual, and that's the only thing I can come up with. It's the most appropriate thing. It's the most appropriate questions to ask. How does this happen? When you think about falling in love, getting married, I mean, there is a intimate part of that relationship on a romantic, sexual level that is very important for consummating that relationship. And you are constantly having sex with her sister. Constantly. So I need to know. I need to have these people on a Zoom call. I need to know. I don't know if they would be comfortable answering the stuff. It can't be. Louis Gossett Jr. died? Oh, man. I just saw this on the side of the thing. Louis Gossett Jr. died. Damn. Bowling is seen staring into his blushing bride's eyes while Brittany supports her sister. If Lauren was a conjoined twin, God forbid, and she was attached to her sister Jen, or whatever, and we're having our wedding dance. What is the? Are they both looking at me? They just happy? It's just, I guess you got to just do it. I want to know what it was. He is the most important thing. I'm sure that both of these sisters, what happens when the second sister falls in love with somebody? What happens? What happens if what happens if Josh's, what's his name? What if his friend comes over and there's sparks between the second sister and they want to start dating? What happens? They're all using the same hole. I am not trying to be dirty here. This is we need to talk about this. Who has other questions? Do you not have any other questions? It's like, can you imagine? She falls in love with somebody and it's just like, hey, bro, move over. Let me, can I have a night with, what's the second one's name? Brittany? I got to have a night with Brittany tonight. Abby, you're coming along for the ride. And then there's Abby biting her knuckles. There is so much. There's so much here. They were born as dicephalous, conjoined twins, a rare condition when two heads are on a single body with one genital system, 2, 3, or 4 arms, 2 hearts, and 2 legs. Abby controls her right arm and leg, and Brittany controls the left side. Wow, they got to work to get that. Well, obviously they had. This is why they had a whatchamacall, a show. They should go back and take a listen to all that stuff. How they learned how to run. I wonder if they can run well. But anyway, there are plenty of theories. Let me take a call. 914-200-0269. Let's just talk about this for a little bit. Because I know people have better questions than I've been able to bring up. Call in, 914-200-0269. I was looking into a few Twitter threads because I knew that there would be some gems in here. Basic ones. Did he marry one or both? Let's see here. The only time that pronouns they, them is legitimate. Axidava says this guy has a very weird fetish. Now, is it? It seems like you would have to have some sort. I don't know. It seems it could be fetishistic. Hello, you're on the air. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Frank. All I could think of was, and this is terrible. It's really bad of me. I'm sorry. Abby Normal from Young Frankenstein.
Yeah. I get you. I'm with you on that one.
Okay, goodbye.
I know. Thank you so much. See, there you go. He's on the road. Let's take another call. 484, you're on the air. It's Good Friday. Go ahead.
What's up, Frank? It's AK.
AK, what's going on? How you been?
I'm good. I was just watching the Conjoined twins. They're fascinating. Have you never watched their show back in the day?
I think I did. We're talking 2012, and I was still watching a lot of these things back then. I'm pretty sure that we were covering it on our other show. I just don't remember any of the technical details of how they learned how to walk and relationship balance and all that stuff. But this is something different.
Dude, they play softball. They can shoot a camera. They each have a driver's license. Okay, they can drive. They're fascinating. It's so crazy to watch them. I think they have separate hearts and separate stomachs too.
Okay, but they're all crapping out of the same hole then.
Yeah,
it feeds. It feeds
everything from the waist down.
Wow. Okay, but even then, everything from the waist down, there is autonomous control of just one leg.
Yep. That's the one controls the right side and the other controls the left side. It's crazy because how they to field a softball, you have to have hand-eye coordination, and for two separate to be able to seamlessly do that, it's really fascinating. And they know how to scroll through things on the phone and take a photo of stuff. It's so crazy.
So you follow them after all these years? Did you follow them on TikTok and stuff?
I just did.
Oh, okay.
When you said that, I was like, I have to follow this account.
Well,
I was obsessed with them back in the day because I was just like fascinated by them, and I had all the same questions as you, and they kind of answered a little bit of it, but they're like super duper private. I don't know if they would ever like do like any interviews or anything, but
yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't have thought that the probabilities of me getting an interview like that would be very high, and it's. I think they would understand what kind of questions people are going to want to ask at this point. But
I'm pretty sure like every single person wants to ask them that. They should just seriously just do a fucking show and get paid for it. I would.
Hey, listen. Even if there was a limited engagement, it would be incredible. It would be incredibly fascinating. Well, thank you for the call.
Everybody would watch that.
Hey, listen, I know that you keep up with stuff like this. Now that you're following them on TikTok, if you learn anything interesting, please feed it back to me.
Okay.
All right, great.
Right.
Thank you.
Will do. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Take care. There's AK from the Gilded Chat. Hey, you know what I would love? I would love to hit 1,000 people on the Gilded Chat. We're like somewhere around 650 or something like that. It's been a slow climb. It's all right, though. I would love to get back to 1,000 since we had over 4K with the Discord. Let's get some more calls. 720, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Oh, hey, Frank. There's a movie from 1932 called Freaks. And if you search on YouTube, you'll see Freaks, Daisy, and Violet scene. Basically, in the movie, some guy kisses one of them, and then the other one sort of reacts to it. So I thought you would like that scene. So.
It has, there isn't a. You just brought something up right there I hadn't even thought about. You say, all right, well, you kiss one of them, at least you can kiss one face, and you don't. Hopefully, the other face is looking away and giving you some privacy, but. It's one continuous skin organ. The entire, I mean, they're sharing skin. Right. If you touch me on my knee, I'm going to feel it. If you touch me anywhere on my body, I'm going to feel it. Hopefully, so even if you're kissing the other head on my shoulder, would I not have some sort of sensation that registers?
Yeah, I don't know though, because. The couple you had there, they say that one controls the left side and the other controls the right side. So maybe they only feel from the left hand and or the right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Maybe there is a lack of
somewhere
feeling.
There's a point of demarcation where
Yep. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that, man. Thank you.
Yeah. See ya.
30s Freaks. That's I've never watched it, but I know of it. Let me see here. I know what all of you are thinking. Let's see. Plot twist. The other sister is a lesbian. It seems like adultery is inevitable in this marriage. There's no two ways about it. That's why I understand if some people think that this has to be born from some sort of a fetish. Because they're sharing reproductive organs. So that's it. If one of them climaxes, the other one, you're having sex with both of them every time. Okay? Can you imagine? Sometimes just like, no, I'm not in the mood tonight. Everybody gets to a point where they're just not tonight. What if the husband and the wife are raring to go? Okay? Everybody ate their oysters. They're feeling good. They're ready to go. But the other sister is like, please, I've got to get some sleep. Oh, man. Oh, let's take some more calls. 603, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi.
Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, please. Kill the stream in the background.
Okay. All right, hold on 1 second. Yes, am I supposed to ask you a question, or can I give you an idea?
Of what?
Well, I was thinking, what would make more money, the Tyson fight or the twins on a porn?
Oh, the Tyson fight. I don't want to watch that. I'm morbidly curious about the mechanics of this That is, I don't know, man. The Tyson fight for sure, but it would make millions though. The Tyson,
and
we're talking about hundreds of millions, if not. I don't know how much the purse is going to be, or how much money they've raised for the Tyson and the Paul fight that's coming up in a month or whatever the hell it is. But this story right here.
Yeah, you were right about the adultery part.
Well, that's
And my wife has a question.
Okay.
No, what do you want me to ask him?
I don't remember.
You don't remember now? Okay, she don't remember now.
Does your wife is your wife by any chance is your wife connected to her sister as well?
No.
Okay. My sister's dead.
Oh, jeez.
No, but
my apologies.
I do know a couple of twins, but they're not connected.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. I think most twins should be disconnected, if you ask me.
Can they claim rape if the other one didn't want it?
Hey, that's what I just brought up. You know what happens? what happens if the married couple, they are in the mood for a little bit of private attention, but there is no privacy. That's
what. And what if the other girl gets mad and just bites the dude's dick off?
Yeah, that's another thing. I was thinking about oral. Thank you for the call, guys. I was thinking about that. There is just listen, you probably, people at home, I'm sorry. I know it's Good Friday, but this is something that's happening in the world that the Lord set into motion. And as we go through life, we encounter things that are so odd, and they inspire questions that are probably uncomfortable. And I cannot stop asking questions. That in particular, third base, that's a big one. Because this guy has to have something going on. Something going on where he's into weird stuff. It has to be. Do you think? You think it could be anything wholesome? Maybe it is. I don't know. 315, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Frank, how are you, man? First time caller, long time listener.
Oh, well, it's great to have you on. What's your name?
John.
John, go ahead, John.
Hi. So, a couple of different ideas here I had. I know you talked about the adultery thing. That's inevitable. If you have the husband and the wife are having sex, then the sister is going to feel it and she's going to be there. And as a man, I wouldn't want to be going at it with my wife and have her sister being right there. So that's definitely got to be awkward. But you're also talking about humans. We, as a physiological, biological creature, we find homeostasis. And when the body isn't in homeostasis, it strives to try to find that. So there's got to be some type of mechanism within the girls that deals with this, I would imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a paramedic, so I'm not a doctor, but I mean, when you break everything down to basics, everything is really the same.
Right.
And as far as everybody kind of not really dogging on him in a mean way, but just kind of a curiosity. I hear a lot is seeing a car accident. When I was working as a paramedic, we would all the time get secondary accidents due to people breaking their necks to see what had happened. So everybody is just kind of curiously what the hell,
Yeah. It's a good point, and that's the main reason why I wanted to bring it up. Obviously, most of the questions that come up when you read a story like this is that we understand how complex human relationships are, and it's hard to maintain relationships, and learning the ropes is really it's awkward. You grow up, you date, you find the love of your life. Hopefully, you settle down. I mean, and sometimes it takes a lot of making mistakes to get there. And when you think about something like this, it makes you wonder how much more complex. And I don't know. There has to be something. Has to be something to it. But yeah, well, that's what I had. That's all I had there. And thank you for the call. Anything else you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, Frank, I would just like to say two quick things. I would love to hear King call in and talk to you about this. Yeah. I love that guy. His frame of mind and how he talks, and just simply this is how it is. I would love, if King is out there listening, I would love to hear him call in and talk to you about this.
Well, okay, what's the other one?
On ending, I would just like to tell everybody have a happy Good Friday, and to remember exactly what Easter is really about.
I really appreciate that, my friend, and have a good one. I hope you call in again soon.
Oh, for sure. Thanks, Frank. Have a good night now.
Take care. You know, the great thing about Easter is there is absolutely no getting around it. You know, there's not a lot of consumer activity that is really baked into Easter. There's a little, people buy a little bit more candy for baskets and all that stuff, but it's you're wishing somebody happy Easter. This is the resurrection. That's it. So I very, very hard to lose track of that. And again, just wonderful time of year, really is. And no, I had somebody ask me in the chat room somewhere, one of the chat rooms, said, Frank, have you ever covered a story like this before? Oh yeah, over the years. Remember, I've been doing this for 18 years. We cover all types of oddity stories. This is not an opportunity to sound dirty, but like I said before, it is an incredible story of survival, number one, an incredible story of finding love. It wasn't put on, there are a lot of people out there that would do bizarre things just to be able to get attention. The fact that this marriage happened years ago and they didn't tell anybody about it until now, I guess that's something about that says something to their intent, their honest intent to find and cultivate love and try to work through a difficult situation. But there is only so many, seriously, there's only so far you can go without wondering about the second sister's experience. Having to be there for every intimate conversation, thought, exchange, especially sex. I have to imagine they're not talking very dirty. There's no secrets. So, hey, this is what we do here. All right. Let's see here. Let's actually, you know what? It's 7:52. We're going to finish out the first hour like this, and then we're going to get into the stories that came in from you guys and gals about feeling that energy, feeling that the Holy Spirit, as many of you have said, and being able to understand what it is and all that. That's going to be in the second half of the show. So let's just keep going. We got about 8 more minutes, and away we go. 570, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hello, Lord Francis.
Hello.
This is Derek from Northeast Pennsylvania, finally calling in.
Good to have you on, sir.
I had another question among all the other ones that you had. If they got pregnant, whose baby is it?
I know, because it's I would have to imagine that is all. I don't know if they are capable of pregnancy. If they are,
Maybe not.
yeah, maybe not. But if they are, I have to imagine that would be a shared system as well. So it would probably be it would probably just be a differential in the legal, parenthood and guardianship and who's signing what names on the birth certificate. It would have to be. But from a genetic level, I'd have to imagine that there'd be very little to differentiate.
And what if one doesn't want it?
Oh yeah,
That's the other question.
If the other sister doesn't want to go through that process, or if they're scared, they believe it might be too dangerous. See, these are all things that you have to just ask them, because maybe there's simple questions to this. Perhaps they can't get pregnant, and perhaps there is already things that they already knew going into that relationship that were never going to happen for one reason or another. But yeah, you're right. That it's again, these are decisions that are hard enough to make and very, very sensitive enough in itself that two people in a relationship have to make on their own. And to have a not just a third person, because you hear about all these weird throuple things going on right now. Not to just have a third person in the mix, to have a third person attached to one of the person's bodies. That's it's pretty big. All right. Well, that's it. That's all you have, sir?
I love the show, man. Keep doing it.
Thank you. And I hope to have you back on with us on Monday. All right, let's do another one. 508, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hi, Frank. How are you?
I'm doing all right. How you been?
I'm good. I'm Dave.
Dave.
I'd like to look at this from consider this from the parent's perspective.
Okay.
Sort of shift gears a bit. So I'm trying to imagine what it would be like to be the parent of these young ladies. And I'm thinking, what would they think about somebody trying to marry their daughter? Now, I guess you just said a little while ago that they've been married for a while, but I didn't know that. While I thought of this, but and I would be thinking about as a father, I'd be thinking, what is the motives of this young man? Because I would be thinking all the things that have already been talked about, and wondering what is going on here. So. It would be interesting to think about it from the parent's perspective.
I think that you're very, very you're right in considering that, and it's also something that has not been brought up in any of the threads that I peeked in on to see what other people were asking about. If I were the parent of a pair of conjoined twins like this, I would be. It would take a long time for me to shake that very, very weird underlying feeling of distrust about what is your angle here. What are you trying to is there something you're trying to capitalize on? How authentic is this? Are you just is this something that you're, I don't know, is it a fetish? What are you doing? These are my daughters have been through enough. On the other hand, you want so badly the best for all of your children. And you want them to experience life to the fullest that it is possible. And if this is really an authentic thing, then you want this to happen. And I guess it's that's
So think, just keep in mind the anguish of these parents. Think about just agonizing over having to raise, get over the fact that they bore these children and they come to grips with it and raise them, and now this, so I just wonder what it's like to be the parent.
It's great.
Anyway.
Great point.
The other thing too is here we are on Good Friday, and, we're talking about anguish, and, this is the day of anguish. And we were talking about fear earlier, and the fear that Christ had, knowing what he was facing. And I try to think of it, and I try to think of the human side of him in this case, rather than the divine side, because we all know what the divine side does 3 days later. But the human side is just, talk about anguish. I feel anguish just thinking about it.
I always have.
Anyway.
Yes. No, I'm with you. I'm right there with you, and I'm sure that many, many, many more people do too. There is a pregnant sense of excitement, no play on words there, pregnant sense of excitement leading up to Christmas. You know, you have this wonderful time because Christmas is this like building toward a wonderful, glorious incarnation event, and Easter has always carried a certain sense of foreboding with it for me, and I'm sure the same thing with everybody else. But that triumph over death is the ultimate victory. But one must walk through the fire first, and that's really there's a lot of reflecting on the human experience there, because it's one that especially every Christian has to concentrate on to be able to draw any kind of lesson for our own lives, which is going to get increasingly more difficult as we get older. It doesn't matter how perfect or imperfect society is. This is just the rise and fall of any human person. We are frail and we are temporary, and there is just there's a lot you have to contend with over time. And it's
God became man, and he knew he was going to be resurrected. But the man part of him knew what he had to go through, and that must have just been unbelievable. So, anyway.
Well, thank you for setting up the second half of the show, my friend. It's great to hear from you, and happy Easter.
All right, take care, man.
There you go. And like I said last night, if it weren't the Sanhedrin sicking the Romans on him, then all that fasting and all that sun, that would have taken Jesus out, according to the experts over here in the 21st century. Don't fast, no sun. Okay, that's at 8 o'clock. So please, ladies and gentlemen, now I want to talk to you guys and gals about that feeling, that overcoming impending doom, and what you have already sent in about, you're feeling that connection to the eternal, the Holy Spirit, as some of you have said. And there's more. I even got a little article over here about 10 Easter traditions around the world that I thought would be nice. We could lean on a little bit, everything, if we need something else to throw into the mix. But the calls have been flowing beautifully tonight. And I know that it was one of those stories that is just probably got everybody debating at home. Some people are probably lemon-faced about it. Leave the lemon faces alone. They're going to lemon. They're just going to be lemons. But for everybody else that is out there and is engaged, stay engaged, because it's Friday and now it's the second half of the show, and I want to leave off for this weekend in a little bit more of a inspired tone, and I want you to be involved throughout the entire thing. So that's what I have. And one last thing I'll say is this: if you support independent media, then put a little bit of an investment in it. Any show that you watch on the regular, doesn't have to be mine, any show that you watch on the regular, become a sponsor of it. That is the only thing that matters. That's the only thing that matters. Just watching a show, sitting there, I support them. I sit there, watching the show is great. It's great to have that interaction. It's an energy exchange there, but it doesn't help the shows grow. You got to put just a little bit, $2 a month, $5 a month. It's nothing. And it goes a very, very long way for those smaller operations that have a whole lot of personality, a whole lot of integrity, so much more than the multi-billion-dollar boondoggle scams that are still just trotting along, pretending like they're worth a damn thing, that they're helping humanity, that they know that they're taking humanity down. Become a sponsor of any show that you love, including this one. I would love to be working directly for you. You can go and check out the Sponsor Us tab on quitefrankly.tv over the weekend or next week, whatever the hell it is, and I'll be the first one to be welcoming you aboard. All right? With that, I'll check you on the other side. Quitefrankly.tv, pilled.net. Let's do it.
The rest of the show is available exclusively at pilled.net. Follow the link in the description of the episode. Get signed up. It's that easy. Or head on over to quitefrankly.tv. Just press play. No paywalls, no censorship, no strings attached. So head on over, quitefrankly.tv, powered by Foxhole, and pilled.net.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out to press the like button. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome to Intermission.
We'll be right back.
Yeah, Intermission. Yeah, Intermission.
We're now entering, quite frankly.
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 Quite frankly. Quite frankly.
Quite frankly. Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
Quite frankly.
We all support, quite frankly.
Not quite.
Quite frankly.
Let's go, Brandon.
Quite frankly, in Roma, Italia. Quite frankly, you're going on Frank's show tonight?
I want to get a Coke. Can I get a Coke?
So everybody watch, quite frankly, with Frank.
Quite frankly.